Oh, yes! Stuart Zender getting up on that dusty end.
So, dude, we're going to be using the entire fretboard today.
Oh, look at this thing. Are you blowing the dust off?
Ain't no dust on this, dude.
That's one thing that is a pet peeve of mine when
It's
people call this up here,
up here
the dusty end. I hate that. Like,
know,
the
I
dusty
hate it,
end because
yeah.
you never play it up there.
Yeah.
There's so many reasons to play up here.
Said all of the people that never play up there. There ain't no player that plays up here and use that term.
That is right. That is right.
It's true.
And I feel like most professional bass players I know too, like really want to have the entire fingerboard at their disposal, right? So that you can use all of it when you need to.
Yeah, and we're gonna be getting into some awesome like tips and tricks as well today, like how to visualization of the fretboard, or at least visualization of target points on the fretboard as well, like super nerdy stuff. So if you're a nerdy bass player and you want to get better at playing over the entire fretboard, you're in the right place. And we've got, I think, 5 incredible bass lines that kind of showcase using the, so instead of us like, just, hey, learn your scales over the entire, instead of that, what we thought would be fun is to actually show you some really, really fantastic riffs that use the entire neck.
Yeah.
And obviously we're going to have a notation for you guys. That will be down below. But also, just to call it out, we've probably forgotten some as well. We've probably forgotten some great bass lines. So if you know of any great bass lines that use the majority of the neck, please let us know in the comments. Go down there, write in the comments, and then if we do another one of these, we can hopefully include the bass line that you've let us know about down below. And don't be afraid of going a bit kind of sort of like, out of the norm. You can give us some sort of like oddball stuff that we'll need to go and research. In fact, I would love that. I want the obvious ones, but I also want the non-obvious as well. But dude, should we kick it off with a classic?
A classic.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Do you want to play it, or do you want me? Just in total transparency, we're kind of a little disorganized today. We're just going to be open conversation, so we don't know who's playing what. Do you want to play it? Do you want me to play it?
I'm happy to. We're talking about Sir Duke from Stevie Wonder. Songs in the Key of Life, I do believe.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Are we talking 1977, 78?
Nate Watts on bass.
Yeah, Nate Watts on bass.
And probably out of all of the bass lines we're showing you today, this is the one bass line that kind of everybody should know.
Yeah.
Because it's just an incredible... It's an incredible way to learn how to use a pentatonic scale, because it's all based on the major pentatonic scale. Should we play them and then we'll break it down?
Yeah, you want to? I'll fire it up. Let's check it out.
Here we go. Let's go.
There it is.
Yeah. Mr. Nate Watts. Set it.
Oh man, this is cool too, because this is sort of like, it's faster than the record, and it's swung a little harder than the record too.
I noticed that. I was playing along with it this morning, and I was like, "Oh, I'm kind of playing it straight, but these guys are swinging it, especially that." What?
Yes. Yeah, that is nasty.
It's like
Yeah.
Yeah, you spotted it way before I did. I kind of I was like 2 or 3 times round it, and I was like, oh, this isn't fitting like it used to, but it's a great version. Great version.
Yeah, notice as it was playing, like, it's not this. You know what I mean? It's, it's that vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah, and as you said, it's B pentatonic, right? So it's a great exercise to take a look at sort of this form of the scale, right? Thinking about this as your 1.
That's the set. If somebody was like, hey, what's a major pentatonic you would use?
It's so nice.
That shape,
Yes,
wouldn't you? And that's
exactly.
the first shape. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And that bit there, it's the same shape that I just played here.
Yep. Just up a whole octave.
Yeah, good luck.
Yeah.
You got to get up there fast.
Yeah, you got to get up on that dusty end, right? That thing is so wild. But actually when I learned it, I didn't go up there. I just stayed down here. Just to see it.
Yeah.
You know, just to like understand, oh, I see.
Yeah, and if
So
anybody
cool
wanted to
because of that.
learn it as well, they could do that, right? They could learn it down
Absolutely.
here first, just get it under your fingers, and then you can go up there with it. Because if you
Same
can't
frets.
play it down here, you're not going to be able to play it up here. It's
Right.
actually easier. It's easier down here, isn't it? And just if anybody's wondering, it's literally a B major pentatonic. We've got all of the tab and notation down below, but it goes and then up to the 3rd chromatically,
Just that one extra note.
and then up
then
to
it
this
repeats.
3rd chromatically.
So good.
But it's swung on this version. Oh, and
All the way up. All the way up to that last fret on a Fender. You know?
Yeah.
So cool.
I bet he played this on a P bass actually.
Yeah, I think he did.
Yeah, he probably did. If anybody knows otherwise, let us know in the comments. But I think he played it on the P bass. And I was just saying to Ian, on the way down, I always play it a little bit differently. How do you play it in?
This spot, like, I do that.
I think I do the same. So,
Yes.
sort of like from that.
Same thing.
Yeah, same shape, isn't it?
Yes.
And we are doing sort of like some hammer on, some slides and stuff like that.
Sounds so nice doing that. Yeah.
We'll make sure all of that's in the tab and notation. And then this last bit,
Oh, yeah.
I always
wow.
play this different.
Yeah.
So today I'm going to play it the same way. I would play it, what is it? I play it like that.
Yeah.
Is that how you do it?
Yeah, I think so.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then on the way up, I always do that.
Oh.
Yeah. So I'm just going all the way down
that's
to
cool.
the...
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, same as you, right? You're trying to emulate the horns, basically, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, that's
Yes.
it, man. It's so good. Like, obviously, throughout this video as well, we're going to be talking about the benefits of learning the entire fretboard. But just to sort of like, the way that I like to think about it, we were talking about this earlier. If you think about a piano player, right? In general, they're using the entire instrument, right? They use all down the low end. They're going to go all the way up on the high end.
Right.
Just like Nate Watts did in this bass line for Sir Duke. He starts all the way down here. And then at the end, as Ian said, he's on the last fret of the freaking bass.
It's like
outrageous.
fret 2 to 20.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, it is literally the entire fingerboard.
Yeah.
And it's just sort of rare, I mean,
It is, yeah. Well, maybe not rare today because we're going to be showing you a bunch of bass lines that do this.
That's right.
But just like, I'm just pushing against this playing down, people that have, and I'm sure that people just say in jest, right? Oh, you don't want to go down the dusty end. You want to play the money notes down here. But
right, in
reality, you don't want to be the piano player that's just playing in an octave and a half, because that's ultimately what you're saying. Oh, I'm just going to play the piano in this. You want to use the full range of the instrument, just like Nate Watts is. Just like you're going to see, Stu Zender from Jamiroquai do today, or John Mayung from Dream Theater, or which other bass lines, or Jacko, or we've got Chris Wolstenholme from Muse. Like all of these really incredible bass players are using the entire neck. And as Ian said before, when you were talking about pro bass players that they all use the entire neck.
Right.
This kind of like this down here thing, it's
yeah, and it's not, guys, it's also not just a jazz thing. I think that's sort of a misnomer too, of people like, oh yeah, if you're playing bass solos or you're up high, that's like, kind of a jazz bro thing. It isn't. No, because almost all of the examples that we have today are like rock and roll or funk or, or like classic soul examples.
There's a bunch of examples where Jameson's playing all the way up to sort of like the ones that I'm thinking about right now. He's playing all the way up here. I can't think of anywhere he's really going above the 12th fret, actually, in terms of Jameson, but he's playing right up until almost the 12th fret, like all of that stuff was all the way, and then he would go down there, sure. But listen, just like not to kind of sort of like, we do want to make this all about the riffs that we're playing today, but I did want to just touch on how I personally kind of divide the neck up into these sort of like smaller blocks, because I don't know about you, Ian, but I found it when I was younger like completely confusing. I was like,
so
this
confused.
thing, like it's a bit of an abomination, actually. You've got all of these freaking repeated notes everywhere. It's harder than a piano to actually learn from a visual standpoint. Piano's actually kind of easy because you've only got one middle C, and then, it's where you've got multiples of the same thing. So what I did is I really leaned into splitting up the neck into 3 5-fret blocks. 3 5-fret blocks, right? The first one being the one that we all kind of know, which is fret 1 to 5. And that's kind of like when you're learning bass. Did you kind of like gravitate to that first 5 frets when you started out?
Of course. Yeah. Yes. Of course. It was like ugh.
First of all, obviously it's like one string to start with. But I think for you it was like,
yeah, I did the one. I was just like, find all the notes on one string.
With or without you on one string, right?
Exactly. That's exactly right.
Once you get over that hurdle, then you're kind of in this 5 fret area right here. And for me, when I got really good at this 5 fret, and I have got like a bunch of embarrassing stories about being challenged to play up here, and frankly, it was just super scary. But what I did to kind of get over that hurdle is split the neck up into these 3 5-fret blocks. And then, most importantly, I came up with a bunch of exercises to help me learn those 5-fret blocks, right? So the first 5-fret block is 1 to 5. Then the next 5-fret block that I focus on is 5 to 9. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Again, it's another 5-fret block.
Yes.
Just like that, yeah. And you can see Ian on Ian's board as well. And then the last one, there's a little bit of an overlap. It's actually, that's 5 to 9. The other one would be 8 to 12, right?
Yeah. So they're all 5-fret blocks, all three of them.
They're all 5-fret blocks. And that's specifically for a couple of two different reasons, right? Firstly is that I wanted them to be the same, because they fit really well under my hands. That 5-fret block it felt really nice. But then also, if you want to go one little nerdy step further,
I do.
You can play around the circle of fourths or circle of fifths within each block super neatly. Super neatly. So if anybody doesn't know what the circle of fourths, the circle of fifths, just hang out. Do not click on a freaking, I don't know, like a cat video over there. This will be good for you, right? The circle of fifths is just, or circle of fourths in this case, it's like C, F, B flat, E flat, A flat, D flat, G flat, B, E, A, D, G, back to C. Doesn't matter, right? The thing that you understand is so many, like 95% of modern songs that we hear are stuffed full of like moving fourths, right? It'll go from a C to an F, or it'll go from a G to a C, or it'll go to an F to a B flat, or it'll go to like, I'm sure as I'm saying this, everybody's like, oh yeah, I play some songs that do that. This is how modern music works, right? So it's really good to be able to play around those fourths in these areas. If you move up here, you can do the same thing in that 5 to 9. Just so everybody's on board with this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to play major triads in the frets 1 to 5. Check this out. So C major, F major, B flat major, E flat major, A flat major, D flat major, G flat, B, E major, A, D, G, C major. Okay, that was around the circle of it. It's just doing major triads. Now I can do, check this out, this is a super important bit. Frets 5 to 9, I can do the same thing. Watch this. C major, F major, B flat, E flat, A flat, D flat, G flat, B, E, A, D, G, back to C. Okay, and then I can do the same. And the important thing is, all of the information is underneath my fingers. I'm not jumping around the fretboard. It's all right there underneath my fingers. Frets 8 to 12, same thing. Check it out. C,
do it.
F, B flat, E flat, A flat, D flat, G flat, B, E, A, D, G, C.
And I have to say something here. If you're not watching the pod, if you're listening, Scott broke up the fingerboard, right, in these 3 sections. You just heard him play through all that stuff. He's using different fingerings. And this might even be something great to point out for people that are watching as well. You're using different fingerings, the 3 different fingerings for a major triad.
There's 3 different fingerings,
yeah. A second finger form and a 4th finger form, so that you really understand all the ways that you can play those chord tones all over the neck. And I bet when you figured that out, it was a frickin' epiphany. Did confetti rain down, dude? From the heavens?
Virtual confetti rained down, because nobody told me that, right? So it was this. The 2 realizations were is that you can break the neck up into 3 areas, 3 5-fret blocks, and you can use that same, this sort of like this fingering technique. And what I'm doing is, just as Ian said, the second piece of this, the confetti raining down, is that you can take a triad or an arpeggio and you can play it just using one of 3 fingerings.
Yes.
So if, for instance, we did fingering, let's take a C major arpeggio, right? Or C major triad. You could play it like this. We can call that first finger form because it starts with your first finger. Or you could play it like this. Second finger form. Or you could play it like this. 4th finger form. Now, once you've learned those, just 3 freaking patterns, people. Once you've learned that, then, say, for instance, I wanted to play around the circle of fourths in frets 5 to 9, I can use those different fingering patterns so I never have to move out of that block if I don't want to. Check this out.
That's right.
Starting with C major. So, 4th, 2nd, 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 4th, 4th, 2nd, 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 1st, 1st, back to your 4th finger.
Yeah, right.
So
and that's through every key center.
It's hard saying it out loud as I'm playing. It's hard. That's why I stumbled that first time. It's just hard to actually verbalize it as I'm saying it out. Now, what I've done is, if you are interested, this entire method of breaking up the fretboard into the 3 blocks, and then also learning these triads and arpeggios in these 3 different fingerings, and how to actually apply it in all of these different ways, is packaged up into a program that we call the Fretboard Accelerator. You might have heard it before. Give me a shout out in the comments down below if you are an ex-Fretboard Accelerator student. We've had thousands and thousands and thousands of bass players go through this thing. It's the only approach to the fretboard that I've seen that actually teaches this method of learning it. And it was an absolute game changer for me and all of the students that have been through it as well. And there's some heavyweight players been through it, not to name any names, but some super heavyweight players have used it. And it's just a great system because it takes out any of the kind of like it just takes any of the thought out of it. It's just, all broken down into these really simple exercises that you can apply. And then I also go on to show you how to then create bass line, because this is what bass lines are built from, right? They're built from, triads and arpeggios. And I'll just put the link down below. It'll be like the fretboardaccelerator.com. So go to thefretboardaccelerator.com or hit the link in the description down below. And you can learn all about it, because the entire system is based off something called the triadic harmony concept. It's pretty cool, and it's over 100 years old. People have been using it, but just nobody took it to bass and put it on bass, and that's what I went and did. But yeah, so check it out down below, thefretboardaccelerator.com. We open it for enrollment once a year, and this is the time. So if you want to, not have a dusty neck, a dusty end to the fingerboard, it's down there, down below. Anything you want to add, Ian, or do you want to jump into the next tune?
The only thing I wanted to add is what you can do with this information is you can really start to think about this as a compositional tool, playing chord melodies, right? Taking a melody of something like a jazz standard, right?
Come on, Alison, with the thumb there. Huh?
Right. If you know this, right, you can start to use your bass. Right?
Oh yeah. Boom, boom, boom. We were probably out of sync there, but I was with you.
I mean, right. So like knowing your fingerboard and knowing how those chord qualities connect and not being afraid to come up here, right? And it gives you more imagination. It doesn't mean you have to play bass solos. It just gives you more imagination as a musician. Yeah. Really, it rounds you out. I mean, the joke is, right, you go to your first bass lesson and learn these notes. You go to the second bass lesson and learn these notes. And then the third bass lesson, you skip. Why, Scott?
You're on a gig.
Yeah, right. I mean, and there is some truth to that. I mean, there is a lot of truth to like, oh yeah, man, if you're just grooving on a couple of notes, you can play in a band, but it's really limiting, right?
Yeah.
Why not understand the entire fingerboard and the entire process of making music, but just on this instrument?
Yeah.
I think that I'm a nerdy bass player, but really, I think you and I are the same in that we want to be musicians.
100%.
We want to be rounded, right? We've chosen this as our instrument.
I don't want the instrument to get in the way, dude.
Exactly. Yes.
And that is the epitome of getting in the way. Being only able to play in like one area of the neck is like, it's the best example of sort of like my inability just getting in my own way. I want like freedom over the instrument, just like you were playing there. It was beautiful. There was like just loads of freedom on the instrument. And the key thing as well is it isn't that hard. It's just having a systematic way of doing it. Just like, we never found it hard to learn the first 5 frets.
No.
It's not like these 5 frets or these 5 frets are harder to learn.
No,
it's
they're
just
not.
It's just you need more of a systematic approach to actually, and somebody cracking the whip.
That's right. And I will say, accountability is a big deal, right? Like feeling like you have some accountability and like, ooh, I need to get this before next week, or, because there's more information coming, or I want to keep up the pace.
Exactly.
I think that's important because, you can just Google what are the triads all over the bass neck, and there'll be some horrific diagram that shows you, but there's no accountability and there's no system.
There's no
right?
system.
The information is out there. You can just type, right? We have these in our pockets. You can go find it. But how many people do that? Almost nobody.
Here's a great like analogy or metaphor. What I always get the two things mixed up. But listen, I can go and buy a bunch of tools, spanners and screwdrivers and all of that shit. I am not going to be able to fix my car or anything that, you know, like
That's
somebody, somebody would need to show me the system, the method to actually do that. So if you want to check out the program, thefretboardaccelerator.com. I've linked it down below, or just go to Learn Bass with Scott. I'll make sure that URL is hooked up as well, if that's easy to type in, because I always like mess up accelerator. I'm always like, how do you spell that?
Like, is there an X in there? Is it a double C?
Exactly, right. Just Learn Bass with Scott will be hooked up as well. And again, we open for enrollment once per year. This is it. Anyway, dude, let's jump into some Muse.
Yeah, man. Are you going to play this?
I'm going to try and play this. I'm going to try and play this. I was being very diligent this morning and learning it. Just for you, baby.
I love that.
And
I love
this
that
is
so much.
the great Chris Wolstenholme on bass. Live at the iTunes Festival, and I absolutely love this bass line because it's well, I say I love it, I secretly hate it, but it's kind of the reason why I love it as well is just because it's such a bitch to play.
It's nasty
because it's moving all around. Let's see if I get it.
Let's go.
I might
can't
not.
Wait.
Here we go.
Oh, listen to that bass. Man,
I think I got through it. I messed up a little. I went to the A too early, but I'm gonna.
Fine.
I'm gonna. Yeah,
You're
it's okay.
fine.
It's okay. So check it out. The reason why this is a complete stinker to play is because from a visual perspective, and this is a really cool thing to get people into up to speed on. From a visual perspective, you're kind of bouncing around a little bit because you're playing stuff down here, right, and then here, and here as well. At some points, but then you're playing this, and then you're going, but then you're also going.
That's the nastiest bit. I think.
Yeah, it's
because it's so far away.
Yeah.
Yes.
Tab and notation down below for anybody that wants it. Tab and notation down below. But let me show you this first bit. So it's just like 3 open E's with the thumb. And then we've got like a double stop that goes from the A and the D on the D and the G string, and then just slides up a full step. And then 1, 2, 3, and then 4 E's. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, after you've done that, you need to get all the way up to the 15, 16, 17, 18, 19th fret. And it's another double stop. It's that actually. So it's the D and the A, but played up. Right. Yeah.
Yes.
And he's going. So. Here's the key thing, that when you're trying to play this, your hand's going to be around here because you've just played this. As you're playing that, 1, 2, 3, 4, you want to be looking at the target of where you're going. You do not want to be looking at where your hand actually is, because your left hand, if you're a right-handed player, is going to be there. And then suddenly you're going to go, and have to get up here. So you want to be... You want to be looking at that target. I'm going to do it really slowly, and hopefully you'll be able to catch what I'm doing. So I go.
As Scott's doing this, watch his head.
I'm looking at it now. And I don't need to follow my hand up as it slides, and that'll be your natural inclination will be to it'll be to go, whoa, whoa. Right. Like if I'm picking my nose in the morning, hey, listen, we can be all honest with each other. Everybody likes a little pick sometimes, you know. If I'm, I'm on my own. I want a little rummage up there, though, when you get into your mid-40s, like you're crusty in the morning. Anyway, you want a little, just to check. What I don't do is this. I don't watch where the hands go. I don't watch my hand, right? It just, look at that thumb. Like a heat-seeking missile, dude.
You know where it is.
Exactly.
You know where it is.
Exactly, right. So the same deal here, right?
Yeah.
You don't need to follow your hand up. So 1, 2, hang on. 1, 2, 3. I'm looking already, and then all the way up, and then in terms of how I'm playing that, I'm just almost like holding like a plectrum's in my hand and going, and then I'm muting the E and the D string with these two fingers.
So love that.
I'm hitting them all.
Yes.
Yeah, so. And then you do what I did too early before. You do 3 A's. And then.
Ooh, that is just, so.
It's dope,
funky.
isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't think I've ever said dope in my life, but there you go. Just snuck it in there. Hey, I'm with the kids.
You're coming closer to my side, dude.
Okay, so there you go again. So, and again, after you've played this 13th fret to 12, you want to be looking down at where your hand's going again. So it's you know what I mean? It's and then back to the E. It's an awesome riff to play. Awesome.
It's awesome.
It's awesome or dope. And it's a great way of practicing that sort of like moving visually before you move your hand.
Yes. I've talked about it before where, like, if you see someone spinning, like if you see an ice skater spinning on the ice, they're not just following their body around with their head, right? Or they'd get dizzy, right? They would have no way to know where they were in space. And they're always snapping their head. If you see someone spin, or a gymnast even, they're snapping their head to a fixed point because they're targeting. Exactly. It's the same thing, right? So, yeah, when you're seeing it on the bass, you want to make sure that you're snapping your head or your eyes to the place where you need to go. I just have to say, Wostenholm on that is... Beast. Also, that is a forgotten 3-on-E riff. Everybody talks about the big 3-on-E riffs, right? Good Times by Chic. Another one, Bites the Dust. There's, of course, 3-on-E by Wolfpack. There's another classic one that I'm forgetting. But this should be the 5th. That is such a great...
It's a great one, isn't it?
3-on-E bass.
3-on-E.
Yeah, it's so good. Yeah.
Okay, dude. I've got another bass. I've got Kermit's here. He's making an appearance. Little Kermit.
It's fun to see the Ken Smith.
Let me just make sure I'm... God, I love the sound of this bass.
Yeah.
Dude. It's sweet.
But then it starts to grate on you. You've told me this.
It's just a weird mid quality to it. It's I wish it had the new circuit with the new circuit's got a treble on there as well. So I haven't got a no. What
new circuit has a mid range maybe?
I think it's mid range. In my mind, there's a reason why I want the new circuit, but in the moment, I'm like, why do I? Maybe it has a tone control. Maybe it's got a tone control on it. Anyway, today, we're going to be using it for this.
Woo! Yeah, man. Some Jamiroquai. Let's go.
I'm just hoping I can remember it. There we go.
Come on. Oh, yes. Stuart Zender getting up on that dusty end.
Wow, come on! This has got to be
great.
One of, and I've got one of him playing it as well. Glutes Scott over there. Can we have a screen share, please? Check this out.
man, come on. Smacking it. Dude, Zender is the best.
Now let me hit a drum.
Also,
Let me hit a drums on their own like that.
So good, isn't it? So good. By the way, if anybody's wondering why I call Alan Glutes Scott over there, his actual name is Alan Scott, but we were doing some stuff for social content the other day. Alan was doing a lot of lunging. And I was just saying that he was building up the old gluteus maximus muscles as he was lunging with his camera, doing his thing, and I'm not going to let him forget it, ever.
Glutes Maximus.
Glutes Maximus, yeah, we're just going to call him Maximus from now on. People will think he actually looks like Maximus out of The Gladiator. He doesn't.
Well,
sorry, Alan. Like, you're a good-looking lad, but you're not Russell Crowe. Not from Gladiator, dude. We love you, but not as much as Russell. Anyway, right? So let me just break this down. I'm going to try. Yeah. It's got this cool intro. Again, we've got the tab notation down below for you as well. So we got... Yeah, like well, let me just try and do something with the sound of this.
You can never get that treble to go away on a Smith.
Yeah, it's a thing, isn't it? Oh, that's nice. Okay, I'm going to go with that.
Yeah,
okay, yeah, we're good. So it's like starts on G, octave, and then you've got this.
Oh,
yeah,
so cool.
Yes, right, so boom. Bam, like a little bend, and then it does that a couple of times. Boom, bam, and then when the riff kicks in, it goes.
That's wild.
Low G,
yes,
and then right up on the 24th fret. So
24th fret. Hey. What if I don't have 24
I know,
frets?
you're like, oh, what happens if I've not got 24 frets?
Looking around.
Ian's got you locked here, Connie, and what do you do if you haven't got 24 frets?
If you don't have 24 frets and you want to play this, you can go up to where the 24th fret would be, right? There it is. Now, it doesn't sound the same because it's not a fretted note, but I'm playing the harmonic, right? So I've got 21 frets on this bass, 21, 22, 23, 24. It'd be about there.
Yeah.
And if you didn't want to make that jump, you have the same on the 5th fret. But it's not, there's something about the risk, of like going up there. That's like, I don't know, it's cool. And it sounds great on the 24th, like actually fretting it.
Yeah, it's great, isn't it? Again, you've got to get that visualization locked in. Don't do this. And then you've got to be like, you've got to play that note and then get locked into that 24th fret. And then it's just chromatic down to an E flat. Then chromatic down to a B flat. So, boom.
Yeah.
And then it's just got this great figure. Boom, 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 boom. G, A, B flat, A flat.
Oh.
Boom, 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 boom. And then again. Boom,
Oh, come on. I love it. Dude, you sound great on that, man.
Oh, cheers, dude.
You sound great. That's awesome.
I do love this bass. It's my running out the house. You can only take one bass. It's going to be
Is
this.
it really?
Really? Yeah, absolutely, yeah. Yeah. It's weird, isn't it? One. Yeah, it's the one because
everything else just goes up.
I wouldn't be able to find another one of these.
Right.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah.
Man.
Anyway, dude, I'm ready for some we've done the 4-string. Like, should we do some?
Wait a minute.
Should we unleash the beast?
like I see your Ken Smith 4-string and I raise you.
Yeah, raise me. Oh, we got the Ken Smith 6-string.
Dude, I this bass is called Serious Lumber.
Do you reckon there's a full tree in there?
I know. It's such a monster. This is a BT6 wide neck. I don't know why anyone would have ordered that. I didn't. I bought it secondhand. But this is like a BT6 wide for some reason.
I want to make it harder. I want to make it bigger. I want to make sure it's a full tree.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy. But I've got a fun tune. Dream Theater 1997. They do this record called Falling into Infinity, which is my favorite Dream Theater record. There's a tune called Lines in the Sand. And it's got this unbelievable unison line. I'm going to see if I can play it real quick here. Let's find it.
Oh yeah, that's me. Just like. Oh.
I mean, it's insane. That line is
happening?
Just absolutely outrageous. So they're doing this thing where they're playing a riff together. Right? And then they go down. Then Myung drops down and they do this like Sir Duke. It's basically like C. No, it's actually
Prog
D minor.
Sir Duke.
Yeah. Yeah, I was thinking of it in C, but no, it starts like C, but it's actually in D minor pentatonic. And it's essentially a D minor pentatonic exercise across 1st fret to 12th fret. No, it even goes up to 14th fret on the C string. It's like it's this entire range of this bass. So slowly it goes. That's it. And then there's this figure, right? Which is this wild tapping figure. And then they're tapping that.
It sounds great as well when they do that. It's got the piano.
It sounds
gong, gong.
It sort of sounds like a barking dog.
Yeah.
You know, like on a Smith. It's like, ow, ow. It's just so cool. But yeah, that's another reason to learn your fingerboard is that all of this stuff, all of these positions start to make sense. You're like, oh, I see. Sure, it's the minor pentatonic form. Like that is just the minor pentatonic form up in this chunk of the neck. Right? And then there again is the minor pentatonic form in this 3rd block of the neck, right?
That's it.
And then that one is the same, right? It's like a 1st finger form, but it's the same thing that you would play here, right? Or here.
Yeah.
And so here's the other thing. People will talk about multi-string basses and they'll say things like, oh, it's so hard to transition to a 5-string or to a 6-string. It is less hard to transition to a multi-string, to like an extended range bass, an ERB, right? Like a 5 or a 6 or a 7, whatever, if you know the fingerboard. Because all the patterns, you just start to see all the patterns and they start to repeat.
Yeah, 100%.
So for me, like this was learning this, I was like, oh, I see. It isn't that difficult once you understand how to break up your fingerboard.
Because you start seeing the repeating patterns way easier, isn't it? That's the thing. It's and also getting out that mental block that everything's scary that's up here.
Right. Yeah, of course.
There was definitely, honestly, like, forget. I can remember there was like a time in my life where I was like, safe zone. Up here, I was like, safe-ish zone. And then here, forget about. I was like, just death. Please, like, shoot me now. Like, death. Around. If my index finger was around the 8th fret, I'm like, get me out of here.
Yeah,
It's
I know.
worst.
Yes, for sure.
Okay, I'm going to take this one.
What do you got? What's this?
Oh, God. It's not good. It might be okay, but it might not be. It could go either way. Are you ready?
I think so.
Are you steady?
Dude, I am both of those things.
Okay, here we go.
Yes.
Hey!
Oh, wait, are you going to do this on fretless?
I'm going to
do
try.
this on fretless?
Wait a minute. I haven't played it on this bass ever, actually, so I don't know how it's going to go. Yeah.
Good luck. I cannot wait.
Yeah, I played it on the P bass at home this morning, so I'm a...
Did he play this on fretless?
Yeah, I played it on fretless.
I guess he would have. Yeah.
Yeah.
He only played Portrait and Come On, Come Over on fretted, right?
I think so.
Everything else is fretless.
Yeah, I think
Wow.
so. Yeah,
That
yeah.
adds a horrible new layer.
It does. It does. And probably a rumbling B string. I don't want that B string to be rumbling. Let's see how I do. Let's see how I do. Here we
Good
go.
luck, Divine.
Oh my God.
Oh, come on. Woo! Hey. Yeah, dude. Come on. Dude, rain the confetti down.
By
That was
the
incredible.
Skin of my teeth.
No, dude, that was great. That was so great. Wow, man.
Skin of my teeth. Skin of my teeth.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
I'll
Of course,
watch,
you guys.
I'll watch it back and I'll be like, eh. So hopefully it was as good as I felt it was. I felt like I got all the notes right anyway.
Dude, you sounded great, man. Yeah.
I should have maybe gone with more of a bridge pickup sound. Yeah, like I did it like this. Oh, yeah. I should have gone with this.
That's
right?
okay. It actually blended really nicely. You were just back there supporting Jocko. You were the low end to Jocko's top end.
I was supporting him, yeah. So, and you know this, I didn't learn this from scratch this morning, just to be totally transparent. I have played this. I've even got like tutorials on the channel from like 10 years ago of me teaching this thing, but I just hadn't played it in years. So I was just I was brushing it up this morning.
Yeah.
And I think I got there pretty much anyway. But it's a really cool line to learn. Like Ian knows it. It's kind of like one of these bass lines. It's kind of like a rite of passage. It's hard, but it's worth the actual work. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to play it through slowly, piece by piece. I'm going to call out some cool things, also some stuff that I found really hard when I was learning. And Ian, if you want to jump in at any point and just be like, oh yeah, I love this bit, or I found that hard too, feel free. The first, and obviously tab and notation is down below in the description if you want to grab it for free as well. Now that first line, that's actually, for me personally, from a physical standpoint, that's the hardest line of the entire thing. I hate playing it.
Yes.
And it's just on a C, and I'm playing C, the octave, the flat 7, the 5. And then once I'm through that, I'm kind of happy. I'm like, oh, I nailed it. I did that.
I know what you mean.
Yeah, and then we've got this, which is a cool, it's so cool, isn't it? And then, so to speed it is. Yeah. Then we've got, and this, you said that you don't like this specific line.
This one was the most difficult part of the tune to get down for me.
I've heard a ton of people say the same thing. So there must be something about the fingering of this which is difficult. And it's like, let me check this out. So it's based on this F major pentatonic. I'm going 2, 3, 4. So just get that line down first.
Yes.
And then this bit, I actually finger it like this. And I slide the last note.
Okay.
Actually, I play it 1, 2, 3. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 3, 4, slide up. So it goes like this. Come on, Divine.
Yeah.
And again. And I play the D open.
Yes.
And that stops me kind of jumping around.
I never could get that, like, to make it sound nice, I needed to shift in a different place. Here's something, whenever you guys are working on something, check your shifts out. I used to play like this, and that was the wrong thing to do. What I started to do is like Scott, because that's how you play it, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And then once I got up to here, so I needed to make the shift there.
Got it.
So I play it that way.
Got it.
Because making the shift up to there to me felt like I could, right?
Yeah.
And then I'm not moving around at the end.
Are you
helps
using
me
the open
stick
D as
landing.
well?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, it helps me stick the landing, you know?
Yeah, exactly that. Yeah. God damn, how glad are you about that open D as well when you hit?
It's so nice. You're like,
Yeah.
You get a minute to kind of relax.
Yeah, exactly that. Then you've got this cool. So that's the
I don't
D
have them
there.
either.
So it's just.
I'll switch to one that has fret markers.
Oh, cheers, dude. And then this line here is my favorite line of the entire piece.
Yeah.
I love playing this line because I love raking. I'm going
Yes.
B, C, C sharp, up to the A, and then I play F sharp, C sharp, B, E, C sharp.
Man, I always thought it was
Oh, it could be that.
But either way, it's that that is such a great.
That one there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know
then-
what it is actually.
I love it, but I love the phrase.
Same.
And then you've got this. That's a really cool. It's just round a D.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just like Jameson language, basically. Chromatic to the root, chromatic to the third, chromatic to the fifth.
Yeah.
That's like a blues.
And I would always play that like a.
Oh,
Like,
yeah, wicked.
You know, with the open. That way.
Yeah.
But
It's just
I like-
finding,
it's finding what works, right?
It's like so with stuff like this, I'm like, who cares how other people play
Yes.
it? Like, do you know what I mean? It's just fine. It's like finding a way that works for you because we're all physically slightly different, and find things comfortable or not comfortable, as the case may be.
Yes.
What happens after that? So, is it this? What is it? I can't remember.
Yeah.
Oh, so it's the same thing on the A, isn't it? So it's like, again, Jameson language, open A or fretted A, but up to the third,
Yes.
to the fifth, down to the seventh,
Yeah.
and then it's got this F7. Yeah. Yeah.
That's so great.
And then, man, he just keeps on going on, doesn't it? No. Dudes, listen, we could spend all day on this. I'm going to put the tab and notation, as I said, down below if you want to grab that. And then go check out Teen Town as well on YouTube. It's from Weather Report. I think it was on the album Heavy Weather. I don't know what date it was. It was like late 70s. I think, was it I don't know. God damn, my nerdiness is letting me down now. But it was like around 77, 78. And it's an album that you should all be checking out. That's it. That's the bass lines, dude. We're
77.
out.
You
77.
nailed it, man.
Yeah,
You nailed it.
77. Almost the greatest year of all time, which was obviously 1978. Hey guys, obviously, as we've said, tab and notation down below. But if you do want to check out the Fretboard Accelerator, just final plug for that. If you do want to check out the Fretboard Accelerator, I'll make sure it's hooked up at thefretboardaccelerator.com. Also, learnbasswithscott.com. All the links just down in the description below. Go check out the entire program. If you want to conquer this beast, it's, I think, the most in-depth program anybody's created about this specific subject. It's got a really, really foolproof technique, which is really based around the triadic harmonic approach. breaking up the fretboard into these 3 specific areas, making sure that you know all of the triads, the 4 types of triads actually, 4 types of triads that you need to know, and then using a very specific system that I put together to make sure that you know all of those, the 4 main types of triads within each of the areas, and then getting into how to create bass lines with them. It's a super cool program. Links are down below. Is that it, Ian?
I mean, why did you get into playing music? To have fun, right? And if you don't know your instrument, it's not fun.
I was going to be like, to play like Steve Vai. That's what
Yeah, but that's to have fun. You were like,
it is.
right? It's like you got into this to have a good time, to do something that you thought was cool. And then you're like, oh, I actually don't know about this the way I should. And if you stay there, it's less fun. I promise you, like if you learn about this fingerboard and you're like, oh, I understand this. Oh, I see this shape. Yeah. It opens up not only like your musicianship and scholastic and, artistic, but it actually opens up fun. Yeah. You feel more free, and that's fun.
It's the Matrix, dude.
It is. You get to see everything gets slower, and you're like, oh, this is just, it's all the same freaking patterns.
It's all the same patterns. It's outrageous.
And then you're like, oh, I can learn all this stuff, and I'm having more fun.
Yeah.
So I think the accelerators are incredible that we make here, even if I do say so myself. And go check it out. What's the URL again?
Learn bass with Scott. We'll go there. We can spell that. Hey, it's double T. Take it easy, guys. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Take care, everybody.